How's it going? Welcome back to their Pokemon Unite video here on YouTube. This video is a little bit different than the normal match highlights that I have here on the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about attack speed and what it means in Pokemon Unite. So, in addition to Muscle Band, which at level 30 can give your character a 7.5% attack speed, we also have Red Emblems in the game now, which when you have 7 of them on an emblem loadout, can give you an additional 8% attack speed increase. That being said, attack speed increases in Pokemon Unite don't work exactly how you would intuitively think that they work at a base level. They don't just smoothly make your character attack that percent faster, because characters' attack speeds are actually linked to how many frames the animation of that character's auto attack takes up. This means there's kind of steps where certain percentages of attack speeds are beneficial for characters at different stages, and certain percentages of attack speed increase don't push a character past the step it needs to get to a lower frame rate, so it actually doesn't have an impact. Let's look at a couple of examples to show you what I mean, and I'm going to link a copy of the spreadsheet I'm about to reference down below so you can have a copy to reference for yourselves to kind of figure out what builds you want on which different characters and why. So to start, each character has a different amount of frames it takes for it to execute an auto attack. So this page of the spreadsheet here applies to Crustle, Alola, Ninetales, and Slowbro because they take a same number of frames to execute their attacks. The base attack speed is this column B here. So you can see from levels 1 through 7, it takes any of these three characters 56 frames for it to execute an attack. When you have a muscle band, which is this column E here, from levels 1 through 7, with that 7.5% attack speed increase, takes you only 52 frames to execute an attack. This means from levels 1 through 7, when you add Muscle Band to any of these two characters for that 7.5% attack speed increase, you actually attack faster for those levels. Now, if we look at levels 8 and 9 here, you'll see that the base number of frames it takes for one of these characters to attack is reduced to 52 as it levels up. But if we look at the number of frames it takes to attack with Muscle Band or that Red 7 bonus of 8%, which is very similar, it's still the same number of frames, which means having either Muscle Band or the Red 7 modifier doesn't actually increase the attack speed of any of these three characters when you are at levels 8 and levels 9. So we've got different columns here. The first one is how many frames it takes these characters to attack when they have Muscle Band. The second one is how many it takes them to attack when they have Red 7. You'll note that these numbers are largely the same in most spots, even though they are close. Muscle Band gives a 7.5% attack speed increase at level 30, and Red 7 gives an 8%, with a small difference being here at exactly level 15 with these characters. Red 7 lets you attack a little bit quicker. Now, the final column is because obviously you could figure out, is it worth playing Muscle Band and the Red 7 emblems to allow for that 15.5% attack speed increase, and we can kind of compare. So for example, I've got columns over here that kind of have it detailed out for these characters. At levels 1 and 2, having Muscle Band and Red 7 is the same, for example. However, at levels 3 through 9, the Muscle Band plus Red 7 allows it to attack faster than just having one or the other. However, again, at 10 and 11, it's the same when you have both items. But then again, once you hit level 12 through level 15 here, you end up going quicker again. So you can see it's not really a binary, yes, this makes my character attack faster, or no, it doesn't. It kind of varies over the course of the game. And I think figuring out what you want for your different builds and your characters that are auto attacking a lot is kind of figuring out, okay, which combination am I getting the most value from? Am I getting meaningful attack speed increases in the spots where my character really cares about it? To look at another example, these are the attack speeds for Decidueye and Greninja, for example. And you can see here, just having just Muscle Band or Red 7 doesn't actually increase the attack speed of these characters very frequently. You get it a little bit early, but starting at level 6, it's the same. It's the same at 7. It's the same at 9, and 10. It's the same at 12, and it's the same at 13, 14, and 15. Now, it is also important to note that Muscle Band does give you that passive of extra damage when you hit with your auto attacks, which does have a lot of value on these attackers. But for example, on Decidueye and Greninja, I would say Muscle Band seems worthwhile for that passive effect. But looking at Red 7, I really wouldn't want to consider Red 7 because it doesn't really make us meaningfully faster at a lot of different points on these characters. Now, for the last example I'd like to call there, I think the most interesting character to look at these combinations on is Duraludon, the way its attack frames work out here, and you can see why looking at the numbers. So Muscle Band and Red 7 individually, kind of mediocre on this character in the mid to late game. They're both beneficial early, helping you attack more frequently. However, Duraludon really benefits starting at level 11 from having both of these items together, and it seems like the best candidate to be playing attack speed increase and Muscle Band on. Starting at level 11, you actually attack 4 frames quicker than you would with either individually or on its own. In fact, looking at just Muscle or Red 7, you don't get any benefit from one or other of these at levels 8 through 15. So while they do help early, and obviously Muscle Band's passive is nice, yeah. And when you look at this spreadsheet itself, you'll note that some of the columns up here aren't sequential. There are more in-depth calculations on these, clicking to one of these other pages. So if you want to say, okay, well, what if we're not fully Red 7? What if we have a 2% attack speed increase from Red 3, or a 4% attack speed increase from Red 5, or Muscle Band plus those? So there's more columns here on these other pages, so you can get into the real nitty gritty of figuring out what you want on your different characters that are auto attacking a lot. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of different builds on these characters, but I think with this information, you can make a more informed decision about which items you want to be playing, because I was honestly a little bit surprised when this got brought up in my chat and folks shared the spreadsheet with me in the math cord. By the way, shout out to the math cord. This is not a spreadsheet that I created. This is a community resource. Do we have the person's name in the table of contents here? It doesn't look like it. So shout out to the math cord where this spreadsheet comes from. I don't have a specific person to credit here, unfortunately, but this is linked in the video description down below, so you can click on through this. It is a great resource helping you figure out how you want to be auto attacking with your bonuses. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If there's anybody new to the channel, not familiar with my stuff, I post daily Pokemon Unite highlights here with different characters 7 days a week. I'd appreciate if you liked this video, if you enjoyed it, and drop by any of the days of the week for some fantastic Unite content. Appreciate you watching, folks.